Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's class. I'm going to add Rachel now.
Hey,
Rachel
how's it going?
Mallis. Rachel Mallis in the house. How are
In
you?
the very small house.
House nonetheless. How are
What's
you?
going on? I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm good. It's been a long week.
hmm
I I hope I'm ready for this weekend, Rachel. Um, Although I think I do have to finish up some more work, but that's okay. Sales tax is a lot of work.
Oh yeah.
What I learned today is that Cratejoy, where the bead box goes through, doesn't want to
Okay.
talk to my like sales tax program, which is like supposed to be like an
Ooh,
automated thing. So I
yeah.
spent like hours doing that today, and then I
Oh,
didn't
fun.
find a solution. So I'm a little terrified and overwhelmed, but that's okay. I don't. We have one idea that they gave me with to try. It'll be okay. But I'm excited for hopefully some rest, and maybe I'd love to go to the pool this weekend. And I don't know. What's up with you?
Um, not a whole lot. Just over here creating.
Cool. Are you making some pretty things these days?
I'm trying to. I'm making right now. I'm making three dice shelves for my boyfriend. So, he
Like
plays
the
D&D,
IKEA
so
ones?
he has like dice. No. I built them.
Okay.
I built like they're not super impressive, but they're just like little shelves that we're gonna put on the wall for his dice. So we're gonna put in like jars, like they're little potions, but they're dice.
Interesting.
So that's what
Okay.
I've been
You'll
working
have to
on.
show me these dice at some time.
The dice,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they're just like dice.
See, he has his passions.
I
You
don't
have
get
your
it, but
but then again, we have stacks of boxes of beads by us. So like
well,
we each have our
yeah,
passion.
yeah.
So today we're working on. I love the idea that these are like Stashbuster earrings.
Yeah, I was inspired. Somebody had posted in Gem Chat, uh, they posted a link to Danielle Wick's like Stashbuster
That
necklace.
was me. I posted that
Oh, you
tutorial because
posted
I
it.
think it's so pretty.
Oh yeah, I had actually signed up for that class and then I missed it.
I think me too,
Not
actually.
on purpose. I
Yeah.
wanted to go to it. I just feel like I missed the reminder in my inbox and I was like, no. Um, so anyway, I kind of got the idea from that. I used to make a bunch of necklaces that are kind of like in the same style of these earrings. They were like pendant necklaces and basically like stash buster.
Yeah.
Like so I was like, well, let's just do some earrings because
Yeah.
that'd be fun.
Cool.
So
And I love that do you have your example ones there? Because they had
mhm.
an unexpected flair. I can add here, I'll add your overhead stream. I wasn't expecting that you seemed like you made the loop and you added some extra wire to it. And I
I
love that
did. I
little
made the
detail.
loop and I decided that I really wanted to use this like darkened copper chain I had. So I wrapped the loop in um, oxidized copper.
Oh, nice. And then you've got your Greek bead on top, and then it looks like you've got like different chains and some charms.
Yeah, I have three different chains on here. Some charms. I've had these little skull charms forever. Somebody sent me these crosses, and while they're very cute, I'm also Jewish, so I
I was gonna
decided to
say, I was
use
like,
them for my
these
stash
earrings aren't like
buster.
my style, but they're definitely
I thought
cool.
with the little skulls, they were a little like grungy bikery. Um,
Like a little Harley Davidson.
yeah, a little bit. So
But what's cool about this is, of course, it being a buster piece. If you're making this right now, try your own. You could do your own concept.
yeah,
Like,
it's great because I have a lot of little baggies of like little bits of chain, so this is
yeah,
perfect for them too. I love to take apart vintage jewelry. So a lot of people give me like old jewelry, and a
mhm,
lot of the time the metal is not really anything to hold on to. So it's like the charms you end up with, or whatever, little bits and bobs here and there, watch pieces. So it's a good project for those kinds of things.
Totally. Well, I'm kind of intrigued to see like what your design like ideas and approach to these earrings are, because it seems like
Yeah, it was hard to, I like picked some things out, but then I was like, you know, this is a kind of project where you kind of have to see like my design process, because things change so much while you're making them. You're like, oh, this works, this doesn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
So well, let's take a look at what you picked out.
Yeah.
You have a whole peanut gallery here for you.
So, well, I have these. I don't even know where these came from. I found these in my box of like bits and bobs, and they're like fake coins, charms that were like printed, and they almost look Grecian, but I'm not really sure. And I have two of those, and then I bought a bunch of these like not skull daggers, shell daggers, and I never have been able to figure out what to do with them. So I have some of those. So I was thinking that could be fun to put on. And then I also have these, like, I don't even know what these are. These are like connectors from a piece of jewelry I took apart. Nice. But then also I had this other thing I wanted to show you that's good with like, I just think it's fun, this kind of style. So these are from pocket watches. Somebody gave me a bunch of like half taken apart pocket watches before. And it's just fun to see what you can do with different pieces that you've taken off of other pieces. So I had come up with like this little design to use. I love reusing things. This is not obviously the exact same. It's not as good of a Stashbuster, but so you could use this style, like this Stashbuster style. For necklaces too, you could use a bigger loop, and
make it the
pendant. Hang a lot more from it. Yeah, hang a lot more from it, so you're not like, if I put more on this, your ear's gonna fall off. But the Shira's keeping track of how many times I say bits and bobs. Okay. Don't make fun of my old lady terms. Anyway,
I love the phrase bits and bobs.
The point of me showing you the other pair is that you don't have to make the hoop. You can really use whatever. So you could use something like this, or I had gotten some Grecian metal hoops from you a while ago. So this would be perfect for like a necklace one. It's a little bit heavy for an earring, but
I was also thinking like we've had some tiara cast components in the shop that would work great. They have like those beautiful hammered rings. If you picked any of those up, we have a few left maybe.
I think I don't know if I know which ones you got, but do they look like this?
They're the same hammer tone, but they make them, they're similar, but they're like a big ring. I don't think you got it.
I don't have any of the big rings. I only have little tiny rings.
Yeah, offering idea of like any sorts of these sorts of components, totally adapted for this design. And I think this actually kind of answers, Jonna was just brought up a great question. How do you get motivated and creative so you're not making the same design? Do you have any thoughts about that?
Sometimes I do make a lot of the same design with different beads, but I think that's just when I get a design I like, I make a bunch. But I think that, well, when I'm feeling like really creatively stagnant, I like organizing my beads, or even just completely shifting focus to something else. So like painting or whatever you like to do. I know organizing a lot of the time is something mindless that I like to do that makes me feel like I'm actually getting stuff done.
Right.
But I think that just the way that I personally work well is if I'm not really sure what I want to set out to make, if I don't have a goal in mind, I'll pick one bead that I haven't worked with and challenge myself to create stuff around it. So like the double drill series, I wanted to challenge myself to use those in a different way than I had seen them used before. And like this infinity loop, the class that we did last time, I wanted, we were talking about it, like, well, you had said, let's not just do the like straight line one, let's do something else with it. And I'm like, what if we just did everything else different?
Right.
So
came back with this great, and it totally changed the designs. I think, and that was my first thought to this question is like, there's so many amazing tutorials online. We have lots in the shop. There's lots of great YouTube channels you can follow. Like I've like started this like Sarah Lovecraft tutorial, and then just totally deviate from it.
yeah.
Like start with the tutorial, but then, or it's like when you taught like the lace necklace class, everyone ended up doing like totally different
there were
design.
some really, really, really good ones.
Yeah. So you can start with, I think it's two places you can start. Start with the technique, like a component, a wire component. And you can also start with materials. Like you were saying, choose a bead you have that inspires you or that has been sitting there eyeing, and start with that as the inspiration.
I also think like another thing that helps me is if I design around an idea or a like inspiration picture. So if you go on, like I have a bunch of Pinterest boards of just pictures I like, or a concept. Like I had done a collection like a couple months ago that was inspired by moonlight and like how it reflects off water at different times. And so that led me to be like, okay, whatever I make, I want it to be like moonstone or labradorite or kyanite. And it helped me create.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like a constraint. By giving yourself like a container to work in,
instead of just looking at this massive amount of stuff and being like, let's make something today.
Right. Right. No, I think it's a great, I mean, that's also like maybe a design challenges would be up your alley, Jonna. Like the design, and we have a design challenge starting in the shop. And Shara and I put one together. Shara did most of the work. Starting on, I think, Monday, we're doing like a 1 week August challenge, and there's a theme for each day. So like definitely keep an eye on the gem chat group, and where each day I don't know exactly how we're doing it, but there's a theme for each day, and you can challenge yourself to follow that. But enough chit chat. Let's start beading.
Yeah, so I thought, even though we've done this before, I thought I would show how to make the loop, just because, you know, maybe not everyone's seen it. I know we do have some new people this time. And then also, like, not everyone is probably going to have a loop that they can work with. So this loop that we're going to make is very versatile. And I'm going to start with 18 gauge wire. And where on earth are my wire cutters? These will work.
This Rachel loop is, as a technique to pay attention to, it is very helpful.
Yes. Where are my tissues? This is 18 gauge wire that I have oxidized, and I spoke a few classes ago. Sometimes it flakes, so gotta clean it off. Anyway, we're gonna need a pair of round nose pliers, and then you're also gonna need a Sharpie. So if you want to get that gathered, I forgot to decide what bead I was going to put on top. We'll just use one of these artistic jaspers from the July bead box.
Heck yeah.
So I like to start when I make these loops. We've also done where we inverted them too, but I want to keep it like this for this class. So I like to use a bigger bead up here just to kind of balance visually. You could just like straight up make the loop, but I think it's also, it gives you something to hold. I don't know. It's more interest. So I'm going to pick out two that look close-ish. I kind of want the like gray ones, I think. So I've got my 18 gauge wire, and I have my round nose pliers, and we're just going to start. I always like to use a really big piece. This piece is probably about 10 inches. It's not, you don't necessarily need that long of a piece, but I like to give myself a lot to work with, a lot to grip onto. So maybe if you're really trying to conserve wire, do like 6 inches, but I should be able to get both of them out of this piece.
Is there an easy way to just lower the phone down a little bit? Or, oh, heck yes. Thank you.
You are welcome. Oh, Lori says she's going to try the boiled egg thing. That sounds stinky.
I've been wanting to do that on my bracelet because I don't want to buy liver of sulfur yet. So I want to see if the egg thing works.
Eggs are not my favorite. So I'm gonna make just a regular single loop here. Straighten it out, and then I'm going to, the wire is very bent. We're gonna see if this bead will go on without me having to fix it too much.
Have you been chewing on wire again?
It was looped under to keep the bundle together when I was liver of sulfuring it, and I just happened to grab the twirly end for some reason. Where are my...
Where are them nylon jaws?
I know, I don't know where they went. They're somewhere around here. It doesn't help me right now, but this is my nylon jaw hack because I can never find them. You just kind of
it's still so bendy.
And you just push the rest of your wire down until it's flat. Because I can never find them. Anytime I'm looking for them, never can find them.
Whoa, I cannot believe you just got that. Oh my God, that bead didn't just destroy itself.
Oh no, I mean, like, the hole's not small. It just needed a little bit of extra coaxing. So then I'm going to take my pliers and just give a little space and bend over right here. And then I'm going to come in with my Sharpie and I'm going to set my wire in the groove between the cap and the marker part. There's like a groove there. You'll see it.
Yes, that part.
You can also use a pair of what are those called? Bail making pliers, but yeah. This is going to give you a little bit bigger of a loop, unless you have really big bail making pliers. Okay, so from this point, I'm going to leave it on the Sharpie, and I'm just going to take my wire, and you can also wind the Sharpie, which works well too. I keep bumping the phone. It's so low down.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be that low if that's uncomfortable for you.
All right. And then you could just take the cap off to get it off. So
that's the most satisfying part of
that's my favorite part. That is like the single thing that makes it worth leaving it on there. I mean, not the single thing, but the most rewarding part about leaving it on there. You get to do that. So I'm gonna just come in here and cut the wire. And then I'm gonna tuck it. And my loop is a little wonky, but I think it's okay. So there's one, and we're going to do that again. This is 18 gauge. This is oxidized copper wire, and it is soft. It is dead soft. You can use, I know a lot of y'all use the German style wire, so you could totally use that. I would not use anything super hard because the 18 gauge is already pretty thick for you to work with. Okay, so I'm just going to make another regular loop. And get this a bead on there. And see, I'm going to be able to get both hoops from this. So just go ahead and wrap it around again. The better you are about setting it in the loop, the easier time, or the groove, the easier time it will have wrapping it.
Oh my God, I was talking on mute. SOS. So curious if 20 gauge would work, or do you think that would be a little bit? Do you like? I'm assuming you like the 18 because it's a bit stronger.
Yeah, I feel like 18 gauge is just, or not 18 gauge, 20 gauge might just be a little first week. I don't know if that's the right word, but
I mean, you could definitely try this technique in it, like just try it out, but it
yeah.
probably just be able to feel a little bit flimsier.
Now, maybe if you're wrapping it with the other wire, it might seem a little stiffer. Oxidizing takes the copper from this color to this color.
And Rachel really oxidizes it.
I just leave it in there, which is why it flakes off on me. I always I run my wire through tissues before I use it to just make sure that it's not going to come off on anything. It doesn't happen to me with silver, just copper. It's so strange. I'm sure there's a reason. Do I know the reason? No.
I really like the direction these earrings are. I love that dark metal with the artistic jasper is actually like quite striking.
Yeah, when I made this first pair, I wasn't going to use the dark metal, and you can see that I made the whole earring, and then I was like, man, I really should have used the dark metal.
But the mixed metal adds its own.
Yeah, well, the it works also because that whole earring was like kind of going in the mixed metal direction anyway, and the darkness in the skull like picks up well the darkness from the oxidized wire. So we've got our loops. You know, just subject changed right in the middle of that sentence. And Julie, yes, it's like basically just for color. It doesn't do anything other than change the color of the wire. I have a piece of tape on my bench block that, yeah, it's going to take me a while to get that off. We'll just use a different part of it. So the loops are probably fine like this, especially if you use a German style wire, but I always like to hammer them anyway, just to flatten it out a little bit. And also to just work harden it a little bit. So you can use whatever kind of hammer you're comfortable with. Keeping in mind that the type of hammer that you use will change what the surface of the metal looks like. So obviously if you're using round, it will be bumpier. And I'm using like a flat one, so it's flatter. And then I also have one that I like to use that's like super scratched up, and it gives it like a scratchy surface, which I love.
And definitely note how Rachel's doesn't have the whole piece on the bench block intentionally.
Oh, so yeah, it's just, if I put the whole thing on there, it's not going to lay flat. So I want it to lay flat because I don't want it to be a misshapen circle. I want it to be as good of a circle as it can be. Not like some weird floppy thing, which, you know, if that's your jam, do you? But I want mine to be circles. So this is a flat hammer. Okay, so now that we're here,
I'm fascinated to see how you then start picking out how you put things together for these.
I just kind of put things on there and take them off. So, these, I didn't even realize this would like kind of replicate. So I'm not really loving this already. I don't know about the gold thing. We might not use that, but I love this. I think I might just go in there with a bunch of chain too, but you could put a ton of stuff in here. You could put like virtually no stuff in here and make it all chain. I have this cool chain that I'm thinking I'm going to use, so I might just go ahead and take some of this and attach my little charms. So I love getting chains that are a really strong metal, but come apart too. I think that's fun. But you got to make sure that they're strong ones, because I've gotten some aluminum chains that come apart before, and they are terrible.
Yeah, I mean, so
it just basically like fell apart.
Yeah, I mean, so with unsoldered chains, for the purpose of what you're doing there, I feel like an oval jump ring could be really good too, just because those are so work hardened and like.
Y'all.
What do you say?
No, my cat is sitting in front of the TV, knocking everything on the floor.
Marauder, come on, get with the program. We're teaching class here.
Yeah, I kicked everyone out of the apartment. Little did I know that other people needed to be evicted as well. And by people, I mean cats.
LOL. If you are not on the oval jump ring chain yet, try them out. We just got some in the shop from TRCast. Oh my
I've tried them before. I like oval jump rings a lot.
They are, because it's so nice so that when the piece is pulling on itself, it's not pulling near a seam. The seam is on the side of the oval.
Yeah, and it's not turning your jump ring into an oval. Those are great for especially bracelets. Awesome oval jump rings. I just started using them somewhat recently. I kind of connect everything to itself. I usually like make wire connectors, but I love the jump rings that have more of an oval shape. And even back on the topic of chains, if you get a heavier weight chain like this, like the bigger chains when they come apart, like those are great to use to connect bits of your piece to. This chain is left over from the Bead challenge.
Oh, cute.
But I have some really big chains that I've gotten before, and the loops are really huge, and you can just take them apart. I must have just got them from like the normal craft store, but the loops are humongous, and you can take them apart. And I've made like earrings with them before, so something like this. But oval jump rings, yes. If you make bracelets, you've got to have oval jump rings. Anyway, so let's keep going with this. So let's wrap. I want to wrap. I don't know if I'm going to wrap my hoops, but I want to wrap the spiky things, the shells. And Anne-Marie says she loves Marauder. I love him too. Most of the time.
Marauder didn't let me pet him when I visited.
He didn't?
No.
Did I have you give him cheese?
I don't think we got to the. I don't think we did. I tried with both your cats. They were not feeling it. They were like, "Who the heck is this in the apartment? Can he leave?" Thank you.
They take a minute to get used to it.
I felt like I needed a year.
It may take a little while, but eventually Oliver will play fetch with you, and then you'll be like, "Oh, now we're doing this for the next 5 hours. Can I leave?" Anyway, so here are my points. These are such a weird. I think the reason I probably haven't really used these before is they're a strange shape, or not shape necessarily, but like
the drilling's different.
The loop or the drilling is weird. So I'm trying to decide how I'm going to go about wrapping these so that they hang the way I want. I almost wonder, you know what? We're going to bring it all the way back to that one class I taught with the quartz points. You remember when we wrapped that with 2 separate pieces of wire?
No, I don't remember 2 wires. I remember some other techniques for some flat pieces.
No, it was the quartz points. The when you had the tiny quartz points, and we made that the necklace that was kind of like this, but it wasn't like assemblage. It was you pick out like a focal piece, and then you base the complementing beads around it. Am I going to mirror the spikes on the ring? I'm not sure I understand the question. So I have 2 pieces of 28 gauge wire that I'm putting through the hole on here. And then I'm going to figure out which one is which. Not that it probably matters that much. So here is one, and here is the other. And I'm just going
to
fold them in half. Yeah. So I've got one wire here and one wire there. This is like a little method I came up with to make sure that my wrapping is centered on things that are drilled weird. So what I'm doing is I'm twisting the wire now. Or I can twist the bead. Oh, that is so much easier. There we go. You don't want to twist too aggressively because this is a thin wire. So I'm just going to do it until it comes up over the top of the bead. And we're going to do it again. This is probably way too much wire, but that's okay. Again, I would rather have too much to work with than not enough, especially in copper, but even in silver and gold, a lot of the places you can buy wire from do have trade-in programs where you can send the wire back and they'll give you credit towards it. So now at this point, one of my twirling is not as good, but that's okay. I'm going to bring the wires together and I'm going to come around and I think I'm going to make it messy. So there's some messy wrapping. Clip it off. And just tuck them a little bit, and then we're going to make our loop. And I think I'm going to loop directly onto this. What do you think? You think I should loop directly onto this?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, as opposed to using some more of the chain to connect it up.
Are you going to put the spikes on the outside or both on the inside hanging on the ring? Can you help me understand? I'm having a very low brain function day. I'm not sure I understand the question.
Yeah, I mean, it has to do with something about the placement of the beads, but we'll just let you design. We'll see what happens.
Okay, so I made my loop, like just a regular double wrapped loop, and I'm gonna I was planning on putting one spike on each earring. I don't know if that answers the question. I like how the spikes are looking with this wire though. So I just made it like a regular wrapped loop. There we go.
Oh, I totally understand it now. Are they both gonna be on the left side, or are they gonna mirror each other?
Oh, I have no idea. I'm gonna be honest with mirroring. I just kind of attach things to the ear wires and see if I like it. I don't always plan that far in advance. Especially with these, I feel like there's so much either way you do it, if you mirror it or if you don't. Oliver, if you mirror it or you don't, it's gonna look intentional. It's gonna look like you meant it that way. Either the earrings match exactly or they mirror each other and it's gonna look like you meant it that way. So I never worry too much about that. Okay, now I need some more wire and we're gonna do it again.
Yeah, definitely walk us through that technique again. I think it is a great one when you have these sorts of more regular cuts where there's just how do you even wrap around this?
I know. It's like, this isn't a cabochon, so how am I supposed to wrap this? Not that I know how to wrap cabochons, but with stuff like this and some of the more irregular cuts you've had in the shop before, I want to use them obviously, but sometimes they need a little bit of a different approach.
Yeah, would you walk us step by step through this again?
Yeah. So this is 28 gauge wire. You can use whatever wire will fit 2 strands through your bead. I don't know if I do anything too thick because it'll be hard to twist, but this is 28 gauge wire. And you can even put 1 strand through at a time if you want, if this will be an easier approach. If I do this, you don't have to worry about separating them. So I'm going to take the first strand and I'm just going to fold it in half towards either the front or the back of the bead. Totally up to you. And then I'm just going to twist them together so that I'm basically making I almost want to say this is kind of like a frame. So I've twisted them together and now I'm going to bring the twist up. So the goal is that I'm going to be able to meet all my wires at the top of the bead, and that when I wrap my bead, it's not going to go flopping around like it would if I had just tried to brio wrap it from here.
Right.
If I had wrapped it from here, these holes aren't really central, so it wouldn't have ever stayed how I wanted it to stay.
We found the root of why this technique was created.
Yeah, because I like to be in control, and I like things to be how I want them to be.
Yes, thank you for not calling yourself a control freak. We're being nice to ourselves today. Thank you.
So I put the second strand of wire through, and I'm gonna just come in here and twist these together. Until we get to the top. And then once I'm to the top, I'm gonna come in here and just bring two of my wires to the center of the bead and then kind of bend it up at a 90-degree angle so I can take my other two and come back around and just twist them on it. Oop. Reading the comments.
Shira just posted the challenge that starts on
Do not direct people away from my stream, Sam.
I'm just doing some cross promotion here. So after class is done, give Rachel her thunder, and then after class, you can go and check out, or if you have two devices like me, you can check out the 7-day beading challenge that's called Let's Bead the Summer Heat. Isn't Shira clever? Mm-hmm. And there's even a little gift card involved for that if you play along.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Anyway, so at this point, we're gonna bend our wires over and just make that loop. Yeah, that's what I was laughing at, is Racha. Okay, so I've made my loop, and I'm gonna open it up. And then I'm gonna come in here and just close it up. Just like a regular loop. And then I'm gonna cut it off. Okay. And we're gonna see where we're gonna go from here. Okay, perfect. So I've got these two. Now, what do I even want to do? I think I had originally wanted to add some of the chain in that I had used in the first pair of earrings. That was another chain that I was able to kind of open up and make using as jump rings. I don't know how to word that. So I've got this, and I'm gonna open it up, and I'm just gonna start attaching chains. Where I need another pair of this kind of plier. Hey, I just found my what are they called? The nylon jaws. I just found them.
Heck yeah.
They were where I looked for them before.
Marauder must have moved them.
Yeah, he came in here and just moved everything.
With his opposable thumbs.
Yes. I swear, if he had them, all of the doors would be open at all times. Obviously, he would open the front door, and he would just go meow at people, is what I think would happen. I don't know where this chain is from yet. So I'm going to open it up here, too.
Shira, what's the update? Are you beading right? Have you been beading today? How much more of summer break do you get, Shira, before all the meetings start? Or have you already been having a lot of meetings?
Well, Sam, I've been having a lot of summer meetings.
Are you imitating Shira?
No, she sounds nothing like that.
Char has the most friendly voices ever.
I know. All right, I really like how these are turning out. So this is what I do. I just like connect things. The great thing about the chains in this particular style is it doesn't look unfinished if you just leave them as chains. Because it's meant to just be dangly. You can dangle things from the bottom of them if you want. You can put a bead at the top. Come on. I think I'm trying to open in the wrong direction. There we go. I don't even always measure the chains, honestly, to make them the same. Sometimes I just eyeball it. Oh.
I thought you were into the question.
I didn't even know that question was there. So with chains like this, with the big, there was like a random jump ring in the middle of this chain. I bet it was a necklace at some point. With a chain with loops these bigs, with a chain that has loops that are this big, I would probably count them. And that's probably what I'm going to do. Or you can lay them side by side, or you can hold them upside down like this and then come in here and do the same thing. Or you can take a, I need another loop on here. You can take a piece of wire. This is what I do with really small chains, is I take a piece of wire and I thread the chain on there, and then I thread another piece of chain and then cut them off at the same length. So how that would look is, let me take one of these little pieces of wire. And I will probably take it off the earring.
It just flashed on my face because your phone disappeared. I was like, wow, I'm on camera.
Right, what happened?
Hold one moment, please. Yes. Bear with us on this Friday afternoon / evening.
On earth, when I open up Safari, it's not even there anymore.
We have crashed StreamYard with our earrings.
Apparently, my phone has crashed several times today. I'm wondering if maybe I have too many apps open, and I'm not really sure how many I have open. And I meant to check that right before we started the stream, and then I didn't.
Well, I'm going to give folks a garden tour while you get that set up again, because I've been wanting to do this the whole time. So I'm at my parents' house right now. I've been working here today, and my dad has this lovely garden that he created during the pandemic, and he had these raised beds built, and there's his tomato plants and his herbs and his roses and his lettuce. He's very proud of his garden. And he did a month road trip, and it's still alive.
I have a hydroponic garden, and Marauder ripped the chives plant out completely. So we're not allowed to have chives anymore, apparently. Did you know that cats like to eat chives? Because who would have thought? He ate all the chives, and then he ripped the whole plant out.
Oh my God.
Roots and all. So anyway, so this is what I was saying about measuring them, is I would probably take them off the earrings, but so I would stick a wire through and kind of measure them, and then I would cut. If I had like a small chain here, probably could just count it. Sometimes when I count it, I forget if I was counting how many links I should have or which one I should cut it on. So sometimes this is a little bit easier. Okay, so here's where we're at. I like them. I think they just need more chain, honestly. I don't even know if I want to add any more beads. So, sometimes you end up with a lot of beads, and sometimes you end up with 2. But I still think it's a good Stashbuster. And if you have a bunch of one-off beads, you can make it as a pendant. You can make them asymmetrical, yet corresponding. I think that's fun. So I try to put a chain in between the beads. Maybe I'll do a second one in between the beads. I don't know. Let's see.
I've got a challenge for folks. If you have extra beads from the mixes, from the boxes, or just from purchasing them in the shop,
that would be a perfect.
Make a pendant, or even you can make earrings too. Either if you have pairs, or if you want to make them mismatchy, but in the same color palette. That'd be very fun to just play around with the mixes for these earrings. You can put all
Yeah.
sorts, put as many as you want, and like totally like go to town.
Remember where I just put that other chain. Here we go. That's a good spot.
Marauder. Oh my god.
You can hear that? I was really hoping you couldn't.
No, I'm reacting to Shira's comment. It's fabulous.
Oh, what did he say? Bleh, bleh. What did she say? Sorry, Shira.
I put it up on
misgendering.
the board. Marauder must have been a French chef in a past life. Chubsy chives.
Yeah, he's just. Sometimes he's just a bad boy. I don't know. When I told the vet tech, when I took them for annuals last week, and I took him to a new vet, when I told her that he is obsessed with coffee, she looked very concerned. And I'm like, I don't know what you want me to do, like stop drinking coffee, because if I don't give it to him, he'll sit in the bathroom and scream. Or
You don't
he'll
give
just
him
go
wait. Sorry, what is
completely
he
around.
demanding from you? Coffee?
Yes.
You can't give your cat coffee.
I don't give it to him, he takes it. This morning I set my coffee on my desk and I was doing something else, and I look over at my desk and he's like, put his freaking whole paw in it. So
Give me coffee.
there was a reason he earned his name. He was not given his name, he earned it.
So where are your earrings at?
Where are they at?
Yeah,
On my
what are
desk.
you? We still at? Oh, we're slotting more chain. Cool. I'm very
Oh
curious.
yeah, I'm adding chain. I'm probably gonna add some of the like brassy colored chain too, I think. So if you were wanting to wrap your hoops, I just wrapped the wire around. And the technique for that we go over in our wrapped hoops class. It's basically exactly the same. You're just wrapping the wire through.
Oh, you
So
could,
that's another.
that could be a
Huh?
fun way. Yeah, that could be a fun way. You could smash both of these designs together. Add some wrapped on accent beads to the hoop, and then also.
Yeah. But I
dangles.
mean, I had just wrapped the hoop on this one too. But you could wrap on accent beads. That's another reason I kind of like to hammer these, because when I hammer them, the loops that I make, when I hammer them, it's not always exactly the same at every single spot. So sometimes it gives the wire something to anchor to kind of hold it from not going anywhere. And that's kind of what's happening here, because I wrap so much in every place on the wire.
Oh, you're off camera.
Every place on the wire is a little bit different of thickness. And so when I try to move this coiling that I've done here, it won't really go anywhere. So I didn't even coil this whole thing. I coiled just down to like the bottom area so it would hang better, which I think is a fun accent too. So here's where I'm at on these earrings. And I really like them so much. I love the colors. So where am I gonna go? I think I'm gonna add a little bit more of this gold hoop. Or Shira. So here we go. I'm just gonna add some wires. So the way you would finish these earrings is you would put your wires on them. Basically, they're done whenever you're done.
I love that.
This is a very chill project. I feel like there's not really any rules. You don't have to make the hoops. You can use watch parts. Like I said, you can use other hoops. You could use pull tabs from your like soda cans, and you could just hang things off of those. If you're going to use those, definitely kind of like hammer them a little bit so they're not too sharp. But
make sure they're not pointy.
yeah, make sure they're not sharp. But you could really use so many different things. So I'm trying to think of what else I have. You could even use really big bits of chain. They're just so versatile. I have Michael Jackson's Beat It stuck in my head, and I think it's because we're beating right now.
Just beat it, beat it, beat it.
Yeah, beat it.
Go and make some, what do we call
Wrap
these?
a wire around the bead and beat it.
Stashbuster earrings.
Rasha says she likes her earrings to be extra stabby.
Alrighty, we're in the last few minutes of class today. So as always, we like to say, if you get inspired by class, or if you get inspired to make anything, definitely go ahead and post your creation in the gem chat group, and Shira will approve your post. We all get to ooh and ah over it.
I'm so excited to see, because this, like I said, like this, even in the post for this project is really not directed by me, it's directed by you. So it's going to be really cool to see what everyone comes up with.
Well, yeah, I think we're going to get such a variety of different ones. I was really determined to make some along with you and have a completely different result, but I did not make it back to the office in time. But I made last week's piece, so maybe I have to make this week's piece too.
You're going to recommit to making the pieces?
Did you like my piece that I did for last week?
I did. I really enjoyed it. I like all the different beads you used. You used a couple different beads in there, and I used all the same ones, so I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I wanted to make. I was feeling I don't like designs that are too repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
I want to have something new to look at constantly. That's probably just how my brain works. So I was like, I want different beads everywhere.
And I think that is great.
And your piece, of course, has a beautiful symmetry. Rachel's wearing the piece right now.
I'm wearing both of them, actually.
Ooh.
I put them both on. I made the tiniest ever hook clasp for this one. You see the hook right there. It's the tiniest thing ever, and it is near impossible to put on.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, how?
But I just like to play with making clasps a lot of the time. I think it's fun. I think that if I sold that to anybody, they would probably be pretty annoyed about how hard it was to put on, though. So if I decide to sell that one, I'm definitely going to change that clasp out. I have a big oval Sharpie. That sounds cool. Oh, like one of the giant ones. Yeah. You could use something else, too. I mean, you could use...
Dang, why don't triangle Sharpies exist? I guess triangle mandrels do exist. So, because remember, on the triangle class, we tried to make our own triangles, and it was very hard for me to make.
I definitely did make my own triangle, and it was difficult. I think I actually had a dream about that the other night. But yeah, apparently there's a triangle mandrel. I'm still probably going to do it the hard way, but...
This is a good technique to point out, is that Rachel's opening and closing the chain links just like she would a jump ring.
Yeah, you don't want to pull anything apart. You'll wreck it. So
she's just kind of going back and forth instead of outwards to open the links of the unsoldered chain there.
Yeah. So these are fun. I think if I added wrapping around here and added some... Oh, you know what you need to get? You need to get blue kyanite itty bitties. That's what I want.
Are you talking to me? I have to find blue kyanite.
I am talking to you because this is not the first time I've wanted them for a project.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, we haven't had really small kyanites in the shop. We have lots
I've
of large.
I've never seen them. Yeah.
Ooh, I like a challenge.
Yeah, so see if they make those. They'll be like approximately $1 billion of kyanite. Kyanite can be so expensive.
Oh yeah. Right? Oh yeah. But it's beautiful. Natural kyanite can be so beautiful. Wait, let's get a close up of our earrings. Let's see how they dangle.
All right, this is not working. in the camera.
Cute.
You know what? I have a better idea. Nope, I don't have a better idea.
That's all right, Rachel.
I was trying to move this, but it just does not. We could.
No, it stays where it wants to stay. Oh, oh, you did it.
Yeah, I was trying to move it completely, but it's just not gonna do it.
Oh, so pretty. I love all the chain. I love chain as a texture.
I think it's so fun. I have so many chains I had collected over the years, and I love pieces with mixed chains on them.
Totally.
Mixed metals is fun. You have to like commit to it though. If you're gonna mix metals, you can't just be like, here's a little pop of one jump ring that's copper. I mean, I guess you could be like that, but
you can do whatever you want.
You can really do whatever you want. That is true.
That is our ending advice for today.
Yes.
Frick you want, folks, because this is beading and it's supposed to be fun and enjoyable. And you're about to start weekend, so start it right, doing what you want.
Yeah.
So Rachel and I are going to hop off, and we hope everyone has a lovely weekend. Thank you so much
for being here, everyone.
Bringing us some creative inspiration, Rachel. I hope it goes out to everyone today and gets us all.
Yes, I'm so excited to see the projects.
And we're going to bid everyone goodbye. And goodbye, Rachel.
Today. I was remember for the diaries. Bye.